Namatu Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello. So today is a Thursday, the 10th of December, in 2020. And this is Ajahn Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. We are in the very last month of the year. And within 20 days, we will be entering to the new year, new era. The era with the new forms, new livelihoods, new norms, and hopefully new thoughts, new attitudes towards own self and then to others. When we are small and when we are not that much important, we influence very little to the community, to the countries, to the world, and to the environment, and as a world, the whole nation, whole entire universe. Whereas as you grow up, and suppose you become a leader or you have responsibilities, then you will be influencing, conditioning the world, the community, the country, the world, environment, and entire universe. One way or another, we are conditioned, and we are conditioning the entire universe, not only our life. And day and night, we've been conditioned by our own thoughts, our own activities, and whatever we do, whatever we say, and even whatever we are thinking, always there's something for someone, something for your own sake and own benefit. There is nothing that we do or we speak and we think that hasn't got anything to do with ourselves. There's a lot of things that we think, that we say, and that we think are immensely affected, influenced, and related to the entire our life. Some become selfish, self-centered, egoistic, and whatever they say, whatever they do, and whatever they think, they're always thinking about their own benefit, their own success, their well-being, their welfare, and will disregard of rest of others, and basically do not want anyone to be better than themselves. And that is what causing a lot of conflict and misunderstanding, and it leads to the war as well. So we need to understand that anything that we do, it does matter, and whoever is doing for the good of oneself and the good for others and then a good for both, we should be praising, we should be encouraging, and we should be supporting that activity and that event. And with that, it brings harmony, it brings a great benefit for oneself, others, and as a whole community. And obviously we are all conditioned. As a human being, We exist because there is another human being. Without another human being, a being doesn't exist. So that's why human beings are social beings, communal beings. We always rely on somebody. We always get support from someone in many different ways. Some may think that I am the best, I have done everything for myself, and all the success that I achieved is simply because of my own work, my own dedication, my own hard work. But forgot, there are so many other factors are supporting to your success. When you were born, your parents are supporting. Parents were supporting. When you are at a school, teachers, administrations, administrators, all the clerics are supporting. When you travel, the drivers, bus driver, a canteen, all the workers, they are supporting too. And when you got the job again, you are supported by the company owner, and other staffs. And forget about all outsiders. Think about within our own house. You get a house with a full of your husband or a wife is there, your children is there. They're always supporting for your welfare and for your success. So we're all conditioned. All is a matter that one recognize it or not. A person who recognized it, known as a great person. But a person who think that all the achievements he attained, simply his own effort, his own solo work, then he is fooled. And that is what we need to learn. And whenever someone is doing something good, we should be emotionally appreciating and happy. They call it sympathetic joy. And that I think we need a lot in this modern world. We always jealous about someone's success, and we want to compete and we want to be better than someone else. And as a result, we have created so much negative thoughts towards someone's success, and jealousy become the prominent in our thoughts. And meanwhile, we have this sense of attachment onto our own existence perceptions, which again blocks every doors that will support for your open mind, open heart, and opening your horizons of this vast knowledge to lead to the success. The very moment when we see that someone has attained or succeed in a good way, good things, we should be appreciating and filling of a joy and happy. And not only that, if there is any possibility that you can walk on the path, then you should walk on that path for the greater benefit of your own and then benefit of others. And that's how our life become so essential, so valuable, so meaningful. If you spend only for your own self growth or thinking only self-centered, ego, then doesn't matter how clever you are, doesn't matter how successful you become, end of the day, it's a sad story. No one wants to talk, no one wants to associate. Not only that, people will be walking away. As long as you can walk, as long as you can work, as long as you can help, you will be accepted some level. But the very moment when you can't, then you will be left away. So that's fine. The very moment when we know that our friends, family member or community members are doing something good and following something, a right path, we should follow that. And with this, we are creating the atmosphere of this togetherness, atmosphere of this unity, and harmony brings there. And supporting one another to grow and bringing the benefit of our own and then to others. Like, I'm just laying this background just to inform you that the Yesa, the young man who become the first person to listen the 5 gradual trainings, after he become a monk, a first layman to be a monk in the Buddha's dispensation, and he was invited along with the Buddha and other monks by his own father for the dana. And then here on that day, after the lunch, Buddha again gave the teachings to Yesa's mother and his ex-wife. They also feel so grateful, realized the truth, realized the teachings, and feeling such a right path that brings happiness, not only for themselves but also for the community. They rejoiced in his decision to be a monk. And here, not only that, his parents and his family members rejoiced and followed his teachings and his path, but his other friends, another 4 very close friends, joined him, saying that, oh, my friend Yesa had understood such a brilliant path probably. If he didn't found this is the right one, he would not follow it. So with that thought, all other 4 friends joined the Yesa, and Yesa took them, all 4 of them, to see the Buddha and become monk again. And here the funny story is that in the Buddhist countries, sometimes people ask, not only sometimes, I believe that every monks face this question: why do you become a monk? Yeah? And I face this a lot. And again, I came from different family background. My family wasn't Buddhists. And I come to Buddhism and study Buddhism and become a monk and went to Thailand and even came to UK. And over this period of a time, not only the Westerners in the West where Buddhism is not practiced ask, which is not a surprise, but in Thailand, when people ask me why do I become a monk, I felt puzzled, because Buddhism, in Buddhism, one of the noblest thing that you can do is to become a monk. And that, again, there are so many other things will follow after you become a monk. Number 1, you will be working for your own benefit in the spiritual journey, and that requires study. Right? So that requires study of the scriptures, the teachings. And the second, after you have studied the scriptures and the teachings of the Buddha, you have to apply it. Yeah? You have to go and practice and investigate which one or whether it makes sense or not. And that's how you have understood from your own investigation. And that is how you should learn Buddhism. And the second, as a monk in the Buddhist countries or among the Buddhists, regarded as a noblest, one who is following in accordance with the teachings of the Buddha, and we should venerate and we should offer in a veneration. We should take care of their well-beings, the care of their the monasteries and the living thing. And as a monk, they have a duty to serve the people. They have a duty to teach and instruct and guide the householders. And here the question is why you become a monk. As a Buddhist, it shouldn't be asked because you should become one of the monks or nuns. Because this is the path that leads to the liberation. This is the path that you are following to be liberated, to the path to the Nibbana. So, rather than you are asking a question why you become a monk, you should be thinking that why didn't I become a monk? Or why didn't I become a nun? Yeah? And this again, in Thailand it's very, very good. Everybody will be encouraging you to be a monk, or not as a nun, but at least a monks. And then, if you're going to be a monk, the whole community, whole village will be rejoicing in your ordination. And this is again another funny thing, is that if you are a Buddhist in Thailand, this is again for men. If you haven't become a monk, then you should become a monk before your marriage. And if you married but you haven't become a monk, then again you should become a monk. So this has been a tradition. So if you haven't become a monk, then you're known as a raw. You're not cooked yet. But the very moment when you become a monk, then you are cooked. So now you're cooked. Basically, you have understood what is right and what is wrong. But this is not in Sri Lanka. Okay? This is not the tradition in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, becoming a Buddhist monk is taken completely in different perspective, in a different way of looking at it. Sometimes it is taken in a very negative way, despite all the Sri Lankan communities respect Buddhist monks, but their status being badly received. And again, if someone give up being a monk, then the society will not accept. The society will be very reluctant to accept someone who left the monkhood. And here, the question is, you being a Buddhist, and you know that how how much we should respect to the Sangha community, and whenever you see the Sangha, you will be paying respect, with veneration and worship and offerings, and put them in a high position, like that. And then you don't want to be one of them. But if they leave, then they have a very hard to acceptance on that. So, when we look at these scenarios, from the time when the Buddha gave these 5 gradual trainings or teachings to the Yesa, and then having understood the charity, the morality practice, and the renunciation, and then understanding the Four Noble Truth. Yesa become a monk. His parents followed, convert themselves with the right attitude, following the path of the Buddha. And then his friends also joined him, seeing that how, my friend had understood the right path, and now I should be following that. And with that, again, another rest of his close other 50 friends came to join and become a monk, rejoicing his success that has brought him such a peace in his mind, and opening his heart to embrace all the people, all the beings, and the thought of helping them to realize this path of purity, path of liberation. And that's how, at that time, they become the 61 arhats, including the Buddha. And throughout this 3 months' time, at that time, Buddha was giving all the teachings and instructions to these 60 monks. And at the end of the Vassa, Buddha told them to go and spread the teachings. And that's how Buddhism began to spread. And that's how the dispensation, the message of the Buddha, gradually expanded from this Uruvela, from this Saranath, Banaras. Initially it was just in that forest, woodlands, and then after having these 60 monks who become so devoted, they become arhats and fully understood. Then the Buddha told them all, saying that Charata bhikkhave charikang bahujana hitaya bahujana sukhaya lokanukampaya. Go monks for the welfare and the benefit of human beings, gods and human beings, for the benefit of all. Travel far and wide, or how far you can go, just travel and spread this message of a liberation, the path that leads to freedom. And further, the Buddha further said to them that do not go 2 persons in the same path. Go in a separate path, separate journey. So that's how the Buddha, sent his first missionary monks into 60 directions, and he himself went another directions. So that's how that was the first mission to spread the Buddha's message in 61 directions and traveled. Buddha himself went as he promised before his enlightenment that he gave to Bimbisara, the king Bimbisara, who met while his first become an ascetic, and who Bimbisara, who invited him to be the king of a half of his country. But the Buddha rejected that offer, and saying that if I want to be the king of your half of the country, I could have lived in my own country and become the king. I am here in search of the truth, the enlightenment, so I do not accept your offer. So at that time, the king Bimbisara invited the Buddha, that time is still an ascetic, saying that in that case, if you have found the teachings, the truth, then please come to teach me. So he kept that promise. So the Buddha kept that promise. And after he gave this message to all the 60 Arhat monks to go and teach to the 60 directions, he himself told them that I am going to the Magadha to teach the King Bimbisara. So that's why, this message that today I was thinking that most of the time we are emotionally so shrinked within ourselves and become so centered, self-centered, and we appreciate very little of others' success. And that again blocks our way to the liberation, our way to the freedom. But when we look at the story of Yesa, the young man and his friends, we see that they rejoiced his success and followed the right path, and followed him, and with that they also become a liberated one. With that, again, the Buddha gave them to free, to free other beings, including devas, deities, and then the human beings, for the good and the benefit of them. And that's how we need to learn ourselves, learn to appreciate others' success. And if that brings benefit for ourselves and for the community, we should be following. And give up the self-centered concept of just me, mine. But think of the whole benefit of all the communities. And that leads not only our own freedom, but also because of our open heart to feel, to help others to be free, to heal their hearts. We are encouraging them to be free too. So, now today I end here with this, the message that spread along with this Buddha, 61 directions, for the good and the benefit of all, including celestial beings and human beings, for the good and benefit in the beginning, middle and end. So I end here for tonight's reflection. Thank you very much for listening, and may you all be well and happy. In a few moments time we're going to have a evening chanting and guided meditation. You're most welcome to join with us. Until then, good night and take care. See you shortly. May the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you. Sadhu.